Obviously disappointing not being able to play this week. Just what are the team's thoughts on having another game out of your control taken away from you?
I think it's what you got to prepare for. Now it's kind of becoming the norm. We tried to look into rescheduling. We're looking forward to playing another FCS opponent, going down to their place and accepting that challenge. But it's not going to happen. The dates that we looked at and we wanted to try to confirm and reschedule just aren't going to work out for us. So it's a shame. We'd like to go down there and play, but again, it's out of our control. And with what's going on in the world today, this might not be the last time that this happens to us. So we learn from it from our perspective of telling our players to make sure that you are doing the right things and protecting yourself, wearing masks, make sure you're not close proximity in big groups and things like that, so we can continue to play throughout the year.
All right, extended bye week, get to play the same team. Essentially, you just played last with Angelo. What have you learned from that, and how do you take this time to prepare?
I think we went into Stephen F. Austin disappointed by the way we played. I didn't think that we competed as well against Angelo as we wanted to, but I thought we came out against Stephen F. Austin. After the initial punch they threw at us, I think we settled down and we played pretty well. We gave them some big plays on defense, and then couldn't score in the red zone. I think that's the biggest thing. The last two games we've played, we've had issues scoring in the red zone. The positive out of that is Mauricio has kicked the ball very well for field goal wise, but I don't want to put him out there just because I want touchdowns. So, a lot to learn from last week. We practiced a couple of days, and we specifically worked on red zone offense and defense, what we needed to work on. And, this week's going to be a little different because, it's hard to find a motivation when you're not playing a game and it comes on like this. And everybody's kind of wondering. So we've got some different things scheduled outside of practice for our players to participate in, and kind of team bonding, some stuff that we weren't able to do during since we missed fall camp. So it'll be a different little week for us, a little competition among our players, and activities outside of football.
Has this been your biggest challenge as a head coach to motivate your team, get them through this type of season?
I think it's when it comes down to what are you playing for. I want to play to get better, and I think that we can learn from all kinds of games and opponents we played. I think that's why we scheduled the type of opponents we scheduled, is not for this year, but to build for next year. We have a goal here every year of making the playoffs, and we're going to play the top teams in the playoffs when we make the playoffs. So that's why we scheduled the games that we've scheduled, and I really believe that losing this one is not going to hurt as bad, but you always want to go and face an opponent at a different level than you're in. So the motivation is there week to week if there's a game to go out and perform and play our best and continue to get better. But it would be literally hard to go out there and practice 5 days this week with no game at the end of the day. And it's not just the players; it's coaches. It's what can we do to best utilize our time. I don't think going out there and practicing 5 days is the best utilization of our time for our team. But there are things that we're going to do that are going to help our team continue to grow together and bond. That note of it too for coaching staff. What do we do during the day? Well, we're going to have a meet today. We're going to talk about what areas we can go and recruit. We spent last week in a lot of areas in Texas after the Stephen F. Austin game, and going out and seeing players and evaluating them and talking to coaches. And we're going to do the same up in this area and in Lubbock the next 3 or 4 days.
It's definitely negative you lost the game, but what are some positives that you guys can take away from having another off week?
Positives from another off week? I think the ability for us to do things outside of football together as a team, I think that's the number one thing. When this decision came down last week, that's all first thing I talked about with our coaching staff is what can we do outside of football to keep us together. Hopefully we'll be able to do some, the activities we got planned and things we're going to do. We divided them up, had a draft this morning. We drafted 8 teams and 15 guys apiece. And we're going to play dodgeball, have a tournament there. We're gonna play some basketball, have a tournament. We're gonna play kickball, have a tournament. We're gonna try to organize a Madden tournament for them to, just so they can compete, somehow against each other. But they're not all offensive linemen against defensive linemen. It's a group of different guys on every team that have to come together and find a way to work together to win. So for our players, I think that's going to be very important. And for us as a team to move forward, that'll be very important as well. But for us as a coaching staff to go out and see local talent, watch them in practice, and talk to the coaches about them, I think it's going to be a big advantage for us as well. So you don't want an off week. You don't want it to come like this. You want to keep playing. You want to get as many reps as you can against the opponent, but you find a way. And this is what we're finding to do.
You still have that open date in November. Is any team going to fill that, or is that just going to stay
Still have
open?
an open date in November, and have not found a team to fill that. We did work to find a team to fill this, and I thought we had one, but it fell through. But hey, you go by it, and we're still looking to fill that date November 7th.